Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of Messy May. I'm Claudette Hasenjager and today we are going to be looking at the prompt expand. Messy May is jam-packed full of amazing artists sharing inspiration, process and their thoughts around creativity. And we are fully submerged in the act of creating daily and playing along with all the different lessons that are coming out. But we also have a unique opportunity here to be able to gather little seeds of inspiration that we can expand on throughout the rest of the year. So if you find a way that you can document or gather these seeds of inspiration, you'll then be able to take your seeds once Messy May has finished and have a look at what it was that you found inspiring throughout the month and how you can then explore and expand on those little seeds and incorporate them into your practice as you continue growing as an artist. So I thought one of the ways that we could do this is having a little stack of post-it notes nearby. So as you are watching the videos, jot down some notes, and once you have completed your journal spread, you can just stick that post-it note onto the spread and it's going to have little thoughts that you found inspiring. Maybe it's something within your journal spread that you created that you would like to come back to and explore again further on. Maybe it is a supply that you would like to explore. So the idea is just gathering those bits that you would like to expand on once the process of Messy May has come to an end. Maybe you would like to have a little tag or a flap or even just a whole page within your journal where you are documenting and gathering these seeds. So that is the thought that I have got on this idea of expanding your creativity and expanding the inspiration that you're gathering and your creative practice is really focusing on this gathering or collecting process of all that inspiration that is coming to you throughout the month. So what I thought was today we could create a journal spread that expands in some way. So maybe that is adding a flap or a little hidden tuck spot with something that you can take out. You could even create a little pocket or tuck spot within your journal spread where you are going to keep all your notes that contain those little seeds of inspiration. Something that can be expanded. Also thinking about what is the best way for you to gather inspiration throughout the rest of the month so that you can come back to it and expand on it throughout the rest of your creative practice. So that's enough talking. Let's jump into making the journal spread. Hello and welcome to the voiceover part of this video. What you're having a look at here is the page that I'm going to be working on, and I decided to go with a fold out flap so that my journal page expands in that way. And the next step for me was obviously collecting collage papers. I always start my journal spreads with a layer of collage to get me inspired and help me find those creative juices and a bit of direction for the spread. So because I have got this expanding flap within this journal spread, I'm going to be using some acrylic matte medium to stick down these collage pieces because I know that that's going to keep everything in place and make this journal spread more durable. So you can see here I'm spreading this acrylic medium out using my card from the middle outwards, and that just helps to make sure that everything is glued down nice and securely and that all your air bubbles have been removed. So this is just an easy trick for being able to adhere your collage pieces down onto your journal spread in a nice, even, secure way. So what you see here is the back of this flap, and I have chosen a piece that is going to extend across my journal spread and create a little secret hidden tuck spot within this journal, and that is going to then allow the story to expand and unfold in a new way that is completely unexpected to the viewer at first glance. So here you can see again, I am working from the center out to spread that acrylic medium across the image nice and evenly. I am then going to cut off this extra little hangover piece that I have got with this collage image and then adhere it onto my spread. And you'll see in a minute how this is going to create this little secret tuck spot, which I was really excited about. So there you can see I'm going to be adhering this down onto my journal spread, and it's going to then allow the spread to expand in an unexpected way. Okay, so here you can see my whole collaged background. There's the little overhanging piece creating that completed journal spread, and then once you flap open that little secret hideaway, it creates a whole new world. And this whole idea just had me so excited. So once you've reached the point where you feel you have done all the collaging that you would like to, it's now time to start adding some doodles, marks, and personal details. What I love about this part of the process, and I think that this might be one of my favorite steps, is that you can completely transform the background by adding in acrylic paint, some pencil, pastel, paint markers, all of those little bits that you do. So this is really a layering process, and all of that adds to creating something that is completely unique to you. This is where your marks and your style come into play, and you can then completely transform those collaged images into something new and unexpected. So you can see here I am loving my acrylic paints at the moment, just because they are so versatile and they really are a very quick and easy way to be able to transform these collaged backgrounds. So in this particular spread, I am going to be using my acrylic paints, my paint markers, some jelly roll pens, and I also go in with some high flow acrylics. And you can see here, this is where I realize I've sort of got a night and day theme going. And I really lean into creating a starry night sky using these high flow acrylics. Now it's time for us to start working out where we are going to be placing these figures within this landscape. I am using a white Stabilo oil here because my background is very dark, and so I need something that is going to help me see where these figures are once I have worked out exactly where they are going to be placed. Of course, this part of the process does mean that a lot of what we have done previously may end up being covered over, and that is all just part of the art journaling process, and maybe a little bit about letting go of the preciousness of the whole spread. So here I am working out that I'm going to have one of my figures completely visible, and the other one is going to be tucked away within this expanding flap that I've got here on the right hand side of my journal spread. And once I've worked out exactly where I want these figures, I'm going to go in with my hand carved heart stamp. Personally, I like to use either a high flow acrylic or an acrylic ink for my stamping, because that creates a very wet, loose, messy kind of stamp instead of using a ink pad. But that is just a personal preference and something that I think makes your stamping a little bit more interesting and unexpected. So I've just gone in with my white high flow acrylics for that heart that we've got stamped onto the figures. The next part of my process is going to be putting down a layer of white gesso on these figures to build out where they are within this landscape. And very quickly I realized within creating the spread that they felt very ethereal, and so I decided that I was going to keep them white. I did at one stage play around with painting the figures in different colors, and I just did not like that. I ended up going back in with another layer of white gesso and creating completely white figures. So I did try color and it just didn't work for me. And that's how they ended up being white. Again, all part of that trial and error within art journaling. So over here, this is when the flap is closed. I've decided to add this little jelly plate print eye that I created a while ago, and that is going to represent the sun within this journal spread for me. So here I am using one of my favorite pens. It's the Signo Uniball Broad. And as it says, as its name says, it is a very broad pen. And so when I'm looking for a fatter line, I like to go in with this pen. It is waterproof and I love the bold line that it creates. So I'm going to be using a combination of this Uniball eye and then also my Signo Uniball Broad. So the eye is the one that I'm using right here at the moment, and that creates a thinner, more detailed line. Again, also a waterproof pen, so if I need to go in and make any corrections, I know that that pen is not going to be smudging all over the place. And these are the two pens that I use to create the details within these figures. So here you can see they've got some hair going on, and I'm just using a combination of paint pens, some gesso, and then my two pens that I have just mentioned to create this fun, messy hairdo on these figures, just for a bit of interest and movement. And at this point, this is very much what these figures are going to look like. I've left those hearts empty, so the background that we worked on is peeking through within that stamped area, and then my figures are in a solid white gesso. This is where I am going to start connecting everything all together, bringing the story to a conclusion. And what I have decided is that I want to have the hearts be the element that is connecting these figures together within the landscape. So using the heart stamp and these ribbons, strings, whatever comes to mind with these little squiggles that are here within the landscape. These are what are connecting the two figures together and creating another layer within this art journal spread story that I have got going on. So here you can see how this movement throughout the spread really links the two together and creates some interest within the journal spread. What I'm going to do now, and this is what makes me really excited, what I'm going to be doing now is closing this journal spread and continuing those little threads across onto the flap, which is on the right hand side. And this is how I am going to create this little hideaway for the figure that is not visible to the viewer. And I'm going to then make sure that I continue this line of orange from the figure on the left all the way around this sun eye that I have got here on the daylight part of my spread. And for some reason, this just makes me ridiculously happy. Well, there we go. The spread is done. I have loved creating this little expanding story, and I hope that you are going to have a lot of fun creating a page that can expand to reveal something new as you contemplate how you can expand your creative practice throughout this month and take it along with you as you explore more creative projects throughout the year. If you are enjoying these little ribbons that I've created here, I would definitely recommend that you check out Roxanne, also known as By Bun. She's got a spirits class where she takes you on a creative adventure creating these little whispers. So that's that from me. I hope that you are feeling inspired after this. I can't wait to see what you get up to using this idea of creating a story that unfolds in an unexpected way.